Hello and welcome to the Nutrition Diva podcast. I'm your host, Monica Reinagel. And unless you're very new around here, you already know that, in my opinion, eating more fruits and vegetables is one of the simplest and most effective things you can do to upgrade your overall nutrition. I don't even really care what kind of vegetables you eat, although in my book you do get extra points for eating a nice variety of different veggies. And I also don't particularly care how you prepare them. It is true that different ways of cooking vegetables may decrease the amount of various nutrients. Cooking vegetables in water or steam, for example, can leach out some of the water-soluble nutrients. But the truth is that even fresh produce starts losing some of its nutritional value as soon as it's harvested. The longer it's been sitting in your fridge or your grocer's fridge, the greater those losses may be even before you start cooking it. But take heart, no matter how many nutrients may have been lost in storage or transport or during cooking, there are still plenty left. And it may also reassure you to know that the guideline to eat 5 servings of vegetables every day takes those inevitable nutrient losses into account. So rather than worry about which style of cooking preserves the most nutrients, I recommend cooking your veggies however you like them best, because those are the veggies you're more likely to eat. And in the long run, that'll probably have a bigger impact on your nutrient intake than the cooking method. But if you are trying to eat more produce, the first step is to buy more produce when you shop. I've noticed that most people tend to undershop in the produce department. They toss a head of lettuce, a stalk of broccoli, a bag of carrots into the cart, and then they move on. But hang on a second. We're supposed to be eating 5 servings of veggies a day. If you're shopping for 2 people and you go to the store twice a week, then you should have something like 35 servings of vegetables in your cart. Now, of course, you probably eat some percentage of your meals on the road, but you get my point. As a general rule, vegetables should take up about half of the real estate on your plate. So logically, this means that veggies, whether they are fresh, frozen, or canned, should be about half of your grocery order. Now, there is a potential downside to buying more fresh produce, and that is that it increases the chances that food may spoil before you have a chance to eat it. And that's definitely not what we're after. For one thing, it's a waste of money. And secondly, all the food that ends up in our landfills creates greenhouse gases as it decomposes. According to the United Nations, if food waste were a nation, it would be the number 3 global greenhouse gas emitter after US and China. So in my house, reducing food waste is as big a priority as eating more veggies. And there's just nothing worse than opening up that crisper drawer and finding that $20 worth of fresh produce has now been transformed into some very expensive compost. Plus, now what are you going to have for dinner? And that's why I was excited about the introduction of a new food technology that can dramatically reduce food waste by extending the shelf life of fresh produce. Apeel is a very thin coating of food-safe ingredients that are derived from grapeseed, and it's applied or sprayed on by growers or distributors to the outer skin of citrus, apples, cucumbers, avocados, and other fruits and vegetables. And it's used on both conventional and organic produce. This thin coating helps to slow down moisture loss, and that keeps the produce plump and crisp. And at the same time, it protects the produce from oxidation. It's completely edible. It doesn't even have to be scrubbed off or otherwise removed. It's tasteless, odorless, and practically undetectable, except for the fact you will notice that your produce will stay fresh for much longer than it would otherwise. Now, Apeel won't protect produce forever. Eventually, even treated fruits and vegetables will wither or brown. But this is a product that can really help in the fight against food waste. Not to mention my campaign to get you to eat more vegetables. And I also love that it reduces the use of plastic in food packaging. But lately, there have been some concerns about the safety of Apeel, and these have been stoked largely by alarmist bloggers and influencers writing scary headlines about the poisoning of the food supply. Viral photos of documents that supposedly list the safety hazards of this product have been circulated around the internet. However, these documents were actually referring to a household cleaning product that has a very similar name, but absolutely no relation to this product. Look, Apeel is the product of food technology, and there are people who are very suspicious about technology in general. Ingredients with long chemical names are automatically suspect, even when those long chemical names turn out to be completely harmless compounds or even nutrients. Even when those compounds are not actually present in the final product. I do appreciate the consumer watchdog ethic that alerts consumers and holds companies accountable for legitimately unsafe practices. And I think we've all seen enough examples to know that corporate interests, when forced to choose between profit and public welfare, cannot always be counted upon to do the right thing. So, when charges like this are leveled, I try to go in with an open mind. But as far as I can see here, Apeel does not pose any risk or danger to your health or to your nutrition, and it provides a real and meaningful benefit to consumers and growers, not to mention the environment. To the extent that this fear-mongering has reached your inbox or your news feed, I think you can safely cross this one off your list of things to worry about and get back to eating those fruits and vegetables. Also, before we wrap up, I wanted to invite you to join me for an informal info session that I'm holding on December 14th to share what's new with the Way Less program. This is my group coaching program for sustainable weight management. Enrollment for that program will be reopening this weekend, and I'm excited to tell you more about the newest developments. So details for attending that are at wayless.life/info. If you have a question you'd like me to answer in a future episode, you can email it to me at nutrition@quickanddirtytips.com. You can also leave me a message at 443-961-6206. Nutrition Diva is a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast supported by a wonderful team, including Brian Getchis, Nathan Sems, Davina Tomlin, Holly Hutchings, Morgan Christensen, and Cameron Lacey. Thanks to all of them, and thanks to you for listening.